Welcome, Judith Collins. I am so privileged and delighted to be talking with you again.
My honour.
So today's episode will be all around healing. I have plenty of questions that I've organised this time to hone in on some questions that I have, and I'm sure that the viewers might have as well, because healing and aura seeing, and you have so many talents and it's natural for you. So, to go to the source of information and get the actual facts from a person like you is such a privilege. So I have conjured up as many as I could think of that the viewers might like to know as well, including myself.
Yes.
All right. So you mentioned in your first book, and that this is the one, How to See and Read the Human Aura. You
Yes.
mentioned that it was a little bit held back, that your information in it, because at the time humanity wasn't ready for it. And
they are still not ready.
oh, they're still not ready, because that was my question. Are we able to know now the information?
Yes. The aura code, the aura barcode is not in the book. I discovered that a long time ago, but I knew people wouldn't understand it. It's about 1 metre long, 90 centimetres long in the aura. It's woven of all different colours, but it has the same message in everybody's aura. That's what I took a while to understand. And I took a sample group of people in their 70s and 60s. I took a group of people in their 30s and 40s, teenagers and young children. And I looked at the barcode, what I call the barcode. If you were to scan it, it tells you everything about you, just like a product in a supermarket. So I called it the barcode.
I see, yep.
And it says the same message to everybody. It just says, be human.
Does it really?
Human.
Be human.
Yes. And what it does, if you go off the track, if you get lost, if you go through depression, if you go too far on the psychic field, it will bring you back all the time, because the journey in your life is to be human in all its forms. And you think of what it is like to be human in going out to dinner and having a lovely meal. That's being human. Falling in love is being human. Holding a baby in your arms is being human. Having a car accident and going through that experience is being human. So it's being human and experiencing all levels of emotions for your personal growth.
I understand. So, yeah, we're here to explore consciousness itself, and that's to be human. And so, can I ask, what does the barcode look like?
The barcode is like a mixture of autumn colours, all woven together, as if somebody got out a crocheting needle. That's what it looks like.
Right. And where is it positioned?
It's positioned down along underneath the arm at the side.
Only one arm?
Just on one side, just very close to the astral aura, just inside the astral aura.
Incredible.
Mm.
Wow. So
I had seen it for years, and I'd seen it in different people, but I wanted to get a group of volunteers together where I could study it.
And you studied it, and there was no difference in the position, no difference in the message or the colours?
The only thing that was different was the length of the barcode in children under the age of 10.
Shorter?
Shorter.
Because they're younger?
Yes.
Wow.
But it keeps them on the journey of being human.
And how does it intercept, if that's the right word, if we go too much into a different realm?
Well, because it sits on the first layer of the astral aura, it vibrates out through the etheric, and the etheric has the physical in front of it. So if you were not doing the right thing, it's one of those moments that you feel, oh, I've made the wrong decision.
Ah, the inner compass
pulls you together. It works on it. because it supports your human development, it supports a relationship if you're becoming divorced. It supports a person during domestic abuse, but it also supports a student who is sitting for an exam and excels and comes first in the class. Yes. So it's there to support your humanness.
Okay, so and it is different. The information contained within that is different for everybody.
No,
it's more of an anchor.
It has one message. It has one message and one vibration only. Be human.
Be human.
And so what I've done, just to give you an example, I've done thousands of auras worldwide of people who are doing spiritual development. And the top part of their body is in all the courses that they've undertaken, whether it's psychic development, whether it's working with runes, whether it's meditation, trance channeling, doesn't matter what it is. And it all looks very spiritual until you look at the feet. And down at the feet, it says that they've got broken relationships and they've got belief issues and negative behaviors. And so therefore, they can take 3 steps forward, but they'll always take 2 steps back.
Okay.
Humanness.
Yeah, there really are no secrets with being a human when you can tune into these things.
That's right.
There's no secrets really, is there? And okay, you mentioned be human is a vibration.
Yes.
If it were interpreted in a frequency or Hertz frequency, is that possible?
Yes, it is possible. The vibration, what I saw in the barcode, it links in the physical layer of the aura, which is a blueprint of who we are. It tends to work on cells, blood. Yes, that area. Cells in the body and blood.
I see.
Yeah.
And another question. So you've opened up a can of worms for me. And another question. And I just can't think of the guy's name at the moment, but that doesn't matter. There's apparently messages in our DNA as well. Would you say that this message of be human is impregnated within our DNA if it's showing up as an auric barcode?
The aura can reflect your DNA, and I've not noticed it doing that. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I studied this barcode over a period of about 6 to 8 months. I deliberately took people who were going through big changes. I took a 55-year-old man who, due to a car accident, was undergoing surgery, but he was being forced to retire and was going to have to go on a benefit. His house was under threat because he couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. And I wanted to see how it worked on all those conditions. I also took a 21-year-old girl who was having her first baby, so I watched that. I took people from all different emotional perspectives.
Yes.
And I studied them over about a 6 to 8, it'd be close to 8 months. Yeah.
Gee, so you're a researcher as well.
Yes, because the aura is it's a blueprint of who we are. It reflects who we are, what we've got to learn, how we live in this life, how we cope with relationships, how we interact with the atmosphere, the plants, the animals, pets, all those kinds of things. And so it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
It is fascinating. I'm just so in awe of your gift, and I wish I could see people's auras like you do.
Well, people can see auras.
Yeah.
But the difference with me, I've been doing it so long.
Yes.
That it's a bit like, say, you get a kindergarten student, right? Somebody in kindergarten or first class, and they're A, B, C, D. And then they start to learn to put the letters together, and it's cat, and it's mat, and it's sat. They do that. Well, that's where everybody is learning. The difference for me, I've now done my PhD. I've got a doctorate in aura reading.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's been going on now for 70 years.
Yes, yes.
Right? Yeah. Many people experience noticeable tingling. So we're going on to the healing.
On the healing subject.
Being quite specific about healing. So many people, including myself, especially in the early days of becoming an energy healer, I noticed real tingling and not pins and needles. It was more gentle than that, but quite even just the thought of healing would turn it on. And then after a while, I don't know, I still notice it, but not as much. It's not so intense. So my question is, if that tingling wears off, because I do believe, and you can please elaborate and go into depth on this, but I do believe that it is natural for a lot of people to feel the tingling in the hands. But when they're not feeling it anymore, does that mean that the power of the energy healing is still the same, or has the intensity turned down?
Well, let me explain what it's doing. So I did healing for many, many, many years. And then, of course, as you know, I then retired from everything to care for my husband. Right. So healing. Healing is generated through the outside layers of the aura. That's where it comes from. And it circulates in what we would call like a Catherine wheel. Spins around like a Catherine wheel. And it filtrates and it comes down through the etheric layer of the aura, and it comes into the physical layer of the aura. When it touches the physical layer of the aura, it activates all of the chakras because they sit behind the physical layer of the aura. So it's activating the chakras. When the chakras are activated, they give you an energy like a bubbling fizzy drink, right? Through your body. So you can often feel it in your whole body. You can feel it in your toes. You can feel it in your hands. Most people will feel it in their hands. Then they might feel it up their arms. They feel it in their shoulders. That's the average person doing the healing, right? So that's the healing. Now, when you feel the healing has stopped, that's what most people think. They think because the tingling has stopped, the healing has stopped. But it hasn't. That simply means that your mind cut in.
Oh, all right. I get that. Yes.
Yes, that's the mind cutting in, saying, is this right? Is this right? Am I doing it right? You've suddenly become judgmental.
Yes.
And so of what you're doing. Or you've become analytical of what you are doing, right?
Yes, left brain.
That's right. And so you're then looking, well, where do I move next? Just that thought alone switches the mind in, and your tingling will stop, but the healing doesn't stop.
Okay.
Right. So you can have freezing cold hands that are icy cold on your fingertips, and that person is getting this lovely warmth of healing.
That's what I've experienced. That was one of my questions. So when we actually get cold hands, icy cold hands, yeah, I've been surprised. Well, number one was I thought, has the healing stopped? Aren't healing hands meant to be warm? So you're telling me no.
And sometimes if you've been in a spot for quite some time, it can just be the blood circulation in your body.
In our own physical body.
In your own physical body, yeah.
But the healing is still happening.
Still happening.
Is it a different type of healing when you
No. It's the same.
It's the same. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. And it's funny how I could sense cold, but they say, oh, it felt beautiful and warm when you're on my knee. And I thought, gee, to myself, that's when my hands went really cold.
That's right.
Okay.
And sometimes if the healing is coming out, if the healing is going deep into the body, and if the healing is going wide, suddenly very wide across the body, then what will happen is your body will adjust its temperature so you don't get too hot, and so it will cool down. There's a number of reasons why our hands go cold when we're healing, but none of them are negative.
That is really good to know and really good information. Thank you. What about when the person afterwards still feels like your hands are on them, or you are working just, say, on the arm, but they can feel hands on their leg?
Yep.
Tell us about that.
That's the energy moving where it needs to go.
I see. Could it be spiritual hands helping the session?
No.
Okay.
Because the healing is going through the physical layer of the aura and activating chakras, those two energies working together are giving a sense of healing around that area. So all it does, it doesn't feel hands on it, but it feels like a placement.
Yes.
It's like somebody putting a hot lamp on it.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm asking these questions. Protection. Do we need to mentally ask for protection before practicing energy healing?
Sorry for laughing.
That's okay.
No, the universe does it.
Yes, I knew that. You know.
You ask for healing, and you just say the word healing,
And it
the
doesn't.
universe channels it in. They're not going to allow anything to happen to you. It's only we humans who get fearful of being attacked and fearful of being infiltrated. And yeah, the universe looks after everything.
Yeah, I resonate with that. I've always felt that. I thought, why do I need to protect myself? You know,
Yeah.
no, that's good to know. All right, good. You mentioned that there's a technique for drawing out inflammation and blocks in the body, and it's slightly different. Would you like to explain what that's about?
The drawing out of inflammation in the body is two hands cupping and letting that coming out like that. So instead of having one hand on the body, you can, and then you can say, put the hand here like that on
Yes.
somebody's arm, and then you bring it up, 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 bring it up. And what it will do, it will take the inflammation. I've done many neck injuries and things, and all I've had to do is just draw the inflammation out, and the neck springs back into action again. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could have one hand, if just say you're working on a part of the body, but you need to stabilize them. Could you have one hand gently resting on them and the other hand drawing out?
Yes, you can. You can.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. And that is done with the intention.
Say, for instance, somebody's had a knee. Well, I've got so many people who needed knee replacements that when they went back to the doctors, they had new cartilages. They had x-rays that proved they didn't have a cartilage. And then after 2 or 3 treatments, they had cartilages again. And then I got onto Harvard University, asked them how this was working. And they said that the body can produce a minor cartilage that can carry us right through to the point of death. So
Like a
you can have a
secondary.
strong cartilage as
Yes.
we grow as humans,
Yes.
but then it's got a subsidiary one that can be produced naturally by the body. So the healing it's not me creating or the universe creating. We're activating what the body can do.
I understand that.
Interesting.
It is. When I was in dentistry, I was a dental hygienist. There is reparative dentine or secondary dentine within a tooth that grows. And so I can understand about the cartilage because it relates to what I've learned in dentistry. So that's really interesting. Does it make any difference in the quality of the healing, whether we place our hands directly on the client's body, with their permission, of course, or we do touchless healing, where we don't touch them?
I tend not to put hands on the body, only because of my understanding of the human aura. I want the healing to go into the physical area. If I put it on the physical body, it's locked in. It can't circulate around underneath it. So it's locked into a hard surface. And I don't want to lock it into a hard surface. I want to keep my hand about that high above the injury. And then that allows it to go zip around the physical layer of the aura and fix an ankle, fix an eye, strengthen up eyesight. They come in for a back problem and all of a sudden everything else gets fixed at the same time. If you put it directly on the body, you lock it into one space.
What sort of sensations can a client experience during a healing session?
Oh my God.
There's lots. I know there's lots. I read your book.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would say my healing room at times has gone to hell and back. The things that I've done. I've healed 98-year-old soldiers who were buried alive by the Japanese in concentration camps in World War II. Oh my God, the things that I've had to be subjected to. All these people find me, and sometimes I wish they didn't. because what I go through with them, what the healing can do. So I'll give an example, a simple little example. Rape victim, right? Gang rape victim. Wasn't progressing with anything. One of the doctors that I work with said to me, can you take her on? Because we can't, the psychologist, the psychiatrist can't get her past this point. So I did some healing on her. One healing, which I did directly over the stomach, because all trauma is felt in the gut, right? And so I did it over the stomach, and within 3 minutes, or the longest 3 minutes in my life, the 3 minutes, she let out a howl like a wild animal. And it was all of the terror and the fear and the anguish and the stress all came out of her mouth, all coming up from her stomach, to the point that she did this for most probably a full 3 minutes, and she strained the muscles in her throat doing it.
Whoa.
But it was out.
And
that's what the healer did. That's what the healing did. Yes, it comes out that way. I've worked with lots of refugees from all different countries, and it all comes out differently. But what I learned about healing, and what I examined this through the aura in order to understand what was happening with the healing. I know that's cheating.
You can.
Cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
But I found out that there's a fine line. It's paper thin. There's a fine line between fear and terror. Terror is animalistic. It gives us animalistic behaviors. Fear can often just be psychological. Yes, and so terror is not easily counseled, and that's what she had, terror. When I've done the 98-year-old soldiers, why they came to me, I asked them, two men, and I said to them, what do you think I can do for you? How do you think I can help you? Which is something I say to all my clients. What do you expect to get from today? How do you think I can help you?
Yes.
Anyway, they came out and they told me that they had lived with their experience and never shared it with their wives or their children.
Suppressed it.
And they held it back because of how other people would be affected. And so they decided that they wanted to come to me, one, because I could see it in their auras, and so I'd be forewarned, right? And I was. And then they didn't want to die with it on their conscience, because they thought that spiritually it would hold them back, and they were right. So I did one man at a time. And when I went home after the healing, after the clinic had closed, I was very withdrawn, and my husband said to me, are you all right? And I'd say, I have just participated in one of the world's cruelest sagas. And I've been through the storylines of about 150 refugees now from all different corners. And the healing, as I said, when it's terror, it's animalistic. And their whole body responds animalistic.
Yes.
Because we grapple with life because it's terror. Fear is something totally different. Yeah. I hope that's helped you.
It has. I know in my own modality in hypnotherapy, only just the week before last, first time seeing a client, and as soon as I got them to feel while they're in trance in hypnotherapy, they opened their eyes in trance, and then they threw up.
Yep, that's right.
It's a cathartic release of suppressed emotion. It's good for them, but I hope I haven't put anybody off of hypnotherapy, but it happens. And you would have seen it too, probably body tremors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they shake.
They shake, exactly. It reminds me of nature. Nature, when an animal has been traumatized or something's happened, they get up and they shake and they shake and they shake until it all dissipates, and then they walk off.
Right. Yeah,
and you think that's what we need to do.
That's why I say it's animalistic. We go back to being an animal, and it's the animal instincts that pulls the whole thing together, keeps us safe within ourselves and protects us so nobody can come in and harm us.
And what's the impact like for you? Like you've just explained, you know, what you've been through to your husband, you know, after doing a healing session like that. Do you find that you need to have then time to yourself to recuperate your energy?
No, I don't. No, I don't. It's just that these two particular men and one lady who was in Uruguay, they told their whole story, and you hear it. Once you hear it, if you're doing the healing and they're releasing emotions and shaking and terror, you're feeling all of that. But when you hear the detailed step-by-step stories, it's in your brain.
That's it, and you can't delete it.
Yeah.
It's a transfer of information.
And also, too, Paul and I we've both worked in war-torn zones as well with the Red Cross.
You've done so much. We'll have to get into that too in another interview.
Yep.
Okay, so many interviews to be had. Hand positions. Let's go back into the modality of healing. Do we use our intuition to guide the hand positions, or we should be regimented in how we hold our hands?
Once you get your higher sense, yourself, your mind, and you can feel the healing running through you, you can lift your hand up and you can move it across the body, and your hand will guide you where it's got to stop. And that's what you do.
Okay. Good advice. Do healers need to do an energetic break from the client? That's what it was. Do healers need to do an energetic break from the client once they're finished working with them? Like rub your hands together, my energy's mine, yours is yours.
No.
I got a feeling you're going to say no.
No. Because the healing turns off, everything stops, new energy comes through for the next person. Yes.
Okay. Well,
on average, I used to see approximately 45 people a day, right?
Wow, wait.
And I did that 5.5 days a week. And sometimes follow-up appointments, I was so heavily booked. There was a 3-week wait, 6-week wait to get in to see me. Yeah.
Goodness. And how long is too long to have an energy healing? More than 10 minutes? More than half an hour?
Depends on the person. If the person needs 40 minutes, they get 40 minutes. If people get 10, they get 10.
Yes.
And I used to just say to people, the healing turns on, then it turns off. And when it turns off, you've had enough that you can have today.
Can the client feel that as well as the practitioner?
No.
The practitioner
People
knows.
think that if they've only had 15 minutes, you haven't done anything.
Say that again, sorry?
If people think that if you've only given them 15 minutes of time, you haven't done anything.
Okay. Next question is about healing symbols. I've studied a few modalities. I've studied Reiki 1 and 2, Tesla Metamorphosis, Theta Healing, and Sasha Healing. And with Reiki, there's symbols. And I just wondered, I personally feel that they're not necessary, but I wanted to know from you.
In Reiki have sacred symbols, and like all spiritual religious based groups, they have their symbols. So they work with their symbols, and that gives them a sense of divine connection. So for Reiki people just doing Reiki, yes, but I didn't do that. My healing was awakened on the side of a road with a car accident.
That's right.
So I was just told to get out of the car and put my left hand on the, and I have no memory of getting out of that car, no memory at all.
Yeah.
Walking 6 cars down, putting my hand on the little boy's chest, above his chest, and do the healing. And then the ambulance turned up and said, oh, good, he's good now. Well, and apparently, from what I was told by the spirit realm, the healing kept him alive long enough for the ambulance to get there.
Yes. And if you want to hear the full story, check out interview part 2, because you went into detail. Yes, yes. All right. So I can tick a few of these off my list. I have 20 questions today.
Righto.
All right. Now, another controversial question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong to place a hand in contact with the client's head over the crown chakra?
No. If someone's got schizophrenia, you have to do it.
You'll have to do it.
You
And
have
why
to
is
do
that?
it.
And why is that?
Simply because it channels the energy going right round the brain, and into the psyche, into the third eye, through the eyes, down through the lymphatics. It does the entire area. So no, you've got to cap it.
You've got to cap it. So putting your hand at the top of somebody's head is perfectly
Yeah, but not on the
fine.
hair, not on the hair, above, always above, that much above.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No contact.
And when you do that, you don't put one hand, you put 2 hands like that. Like that. Like that. Yep, like that.
Okay, leaving a gap in the middle? No.
Yep.
Yes?
Yep. Get your thumbs together, get your thumbs together, lock the healing together like that, and you can balance your hands like that, like that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Got you.